Everybody has seen the news over the last few weeks that Europe is burning up, Middle East is burning up, all these high temperatures, as though it never happened before. I've spoken to people, they say, well, this is sort of normal. Dan McTeague is former Liberal member of Parliament, just got back from Italy. Some family business there and some pleasure. And, was it hot?
Yeah, of course it was hot, but it's July. As my relative said to me, there's a reason why we call it siestas in this country. Look, I get there, Air Transat lost my luggage, so I've got the jeans, the jacket, and why
you look like a Canadian.
I look like a Canadian, get off the thing. Yes, it was hot, but no hotter than anything they've experienced in the past. And so one of the first things I see when my phone goes off in Twitter is from Eric Reguly of the Globe and Mail saying, or former Globe and Mail, saying, it's never been this hot before, this is terrible, it's terrible. And I'm in Italy, and I said, yeah, so am I, it's not that bad. So, what's going on here? And I think it really has a lot to do with
What is going on there? Because is it that people have no idea what happened 10 years ago or 20 years ago?
I think they're bored, and I think they also have an agenda. And the agenda is perhaps because they're being fed this information, perhaps they're receiving money to push this particular narrative. Look, leave the weather alone, leave the climate alone. When you have the IPCC's
Are you a climate denier?
Of course, yes, I'm a climate realist. When you have the IPCC's new chair, Mr. Skye, I think is his name, or Skye, coming out and saying, listen, the 1.5 degrees is no big deal. Let's stop the hyperbole. Let's stop the panicking. Let's stop the fear-mongering. Let's stop the climate bedwetting.
So then the head of the UN, though, just last week, came out and said, the world is burning up.
Yeah, well, Mr. Guterres doesn't seem to have a problem flying around the world, and if the concern is that fossil fuels are doing this, perhaps he ought to maybe stay where he belongs, in Spain. By the way, Spain was hot, but not that bad, and certainly not unprecedented.
Hot.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
know people that go there in July because it is so dry.
It's a siesta. It's a siesta time. So, look, I recognize.
Are you saying that most of the press is full of it?
I'm thinking the press has bought into it, and I think there's a line in which they have adopted, which is not based on fact. It's scientism. It is not based on science.
And yet you find some journals, Wall Street Journal will say that, they say exactly that. This is nothing new. And weather does change, and we should deal with pollution, but we should not close down the world.
And we're doing a damn good job in Canada. Go down the street here to Lake Ontario back in the 1970s, see how dirty it was. Look at the air, how putrid it was. Vehicles putting out emissions. We don't have that anymore. Look, I think we need to be real about what we have done, what we accomplished. There's more room for greater things down the road, but let's not go over the cliff
20
on this.
seconds, let's talk about politicians. Tony Blair the other day, former Prime Minister of Great Britain, said, you know what? We've got to stop telling people that the sky is falling and making them sacrifice for something that's really not going to happen. Yet in Canada, our leaders are saying, we got tax so we can fight climate change.
No, they need the money. They need the revenues because they're spending frivolously on everything around the world except on Canadians, and that's the problem.
Dan McTeague, thanks very much. 3 minutes.